My name is James Ziliak. I'm a professor of economics at the University of Kentucky. I'm also the founding director of the Center for Poverty Research. At the center, we focus on poverty and inequality in the United States, both the causes and consequences, as well as the correlates. So we conduct research on causes of poverty, consequences of poverty, trends in inequality, and as well as other aspects, including food assistance, what's referred to as food security. But our focus is on the United States and disadvantaged populations there. Some of the more recent research that we've conducted relates to the transmission of welfare across generations. So the idea is that an individual, if they qualify for welfare, they have to have low income, they have to have few assets, and for the particular program of interest for us, they also have to have children living in the household under age 18 to qualify for this program. And this program had been around since the mid-1930s during the Great Depression in the United States, and then in the mid-1990s, first states in the US and then the federal Congress reformed the program to change eligibility criteria, to introduce things like work requirements for benefits. They would limit the length of time that you could be eligible for the program or receive benefits. So there's been a lot of research on the program and the effect of welfare reform on participation. But one area that people haven't studied yet, in part because not enough time had passed, is whether or not the chances of a child participating in welfare were affected by the welfare reform when they were an adult, okay, after the reform. And so the idea is that if I'm exposed to welfare as a child, right, does that have an impact on the odds of me participating in welfare as an adult, okay? And part of the impetus for this welfare reform was to try to reduce this transmission from parent to child. And so we look at longitudinal data in the United States. It starts in 1968. It follows the same families and their children and their grandchildren over time. So it's from 68 to 2013 to ask this question, did welfare reform reduce the transmission from parent to child? And we find very strong evidence that it did, that it reduced that transmission channel by about 50%, which is a big effect, and much bigger than what we anticipated, in fact. But one thing we also look at is that this program is just one component of the overall welfare state in the US. And so many low-income families in the US also get food assistance. It used to be called the food stamp program. It's now referred to as SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance. And so we wanted to look at whether or not this welfare reform affected participation in these other programs beyond the direct cash welfare program. And here we find evidence that the effect was much more muted than what it was. And so the main reason for that is that while welfare reform had an effect on reducing the chances of picking up the one program, it did not necessarily improve economic mobility from parent to child. And so that meant that the daughter as an adult is still low income and eligible for these other food assistance programs. So it seems as though welfare reform had its intended direct effect, but it didn't improve the overall well-being of these families in the wider income status and dependence on welfare over time.